Hey everybody, we're back with another video, and today we're talking about easy tree generation with TreeIt. You can go download that right here and see some of the nice results that they can get with it. It is super easy to use, and we're going to take a quick look at it. I've already unzipped the file, and I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And this is where you basically start out. It's a really simple program, might look like a lot's going on, but over here you have the different components of your tree. And you can switch those on and off and affect a couple different base things about your tree as a whole, but I usually just jump in and start having a good time. Normally once you get some stuff done, you can actually come back here and mess with it, and it will affect your tree quite a bit. So we're going to pop over into trunk, and some of the things are reliant on other things. So you see if we move up our trunk count, it doesn't get affected at all unless we change our split count as well. So some things are like that, where you're going to scrub through and not see anything happening, and then you're going to come back and do something else and see a huge effect from it. But it's all good. It's fun to jump in and play around with. So we got our length and our radius. Some really cool things to mess around with are the radius noise and the, sine frequency. So you can get some nice texture out of it without even needing any texture to it. And I always crinkle them a little bit. So you can use this software to make not only trees, but bushes, flowers, grass, mushrooms, really anything with a tree-like structure to it. I imagine you could get really creative and build some synthetic things with it. And we're going to pop over into branch and just bring our count up, and you can see it just building our branches in. And you could imagine doing this from scratch, which I have done many times in the past in Blender or something like that, or if you're old enough, maybe even Animator. But this is so much easier to be able to just build this stuff out like this. So I'd say it's a good idea to have a concept for what you're wanting to build first. In this particular case, I'm just running through the program and building a tree. But if you have a good idea of what you're going for, it's definitely going to guide your decisions on a lot of these. Mostly I'm just adding branches, adding in splits, changing the split count, getting some nice detail. And you can see with everything on sliders the way it is, it's just very adjustable, and it's even adjustable to the point where, I'll show you here in just a little bit, but you can just keep randomizing trees and generating new trees. So you can build one tree and then change a couple things, and it makes a big difference. And then within your application, whether you're doing animation or 3D work, in this particular case, I've been using them for games. But they work fine within the Unity engine. I'm sure they'll work fine within the Unreal Engine. Obviously, the Unreal Engine has Quixel, but this is going to give you that ability to customize things. So it is a really nice software. We're going to go ahead and add our leaves. And a cool thing about this is we have our base mesh here. And then we have a database that is provided. So I'm going to click over here, load texture, and then I just need to go to the TreeIt folder, and there's some nice images supplied. Oh, what a mess. There we go, textures, and we're doing leaves. And we'll pick out something that looks nice. But as you can see, they've provided the diffuse or albedo, as well as the normal and roughness or smoothness pass. So it's pretty nice to be able to have that on hand already for these particular things, but it's not that hard to generate your own passes of those images. So you can go out and take pictures in your yard or in the local park, in the woods, and recreate pretty much any tree or bush that you'd like. Load in your own textures. Okay, so we have our albedo pass there, and then we'll pop in and just make sure we go to the same leaf texture, but there we go, normal and roughness. And we click OK and it loads in, and that looks pretty good without making any adjustments. It seems like anytime I go to make adjustments on these, it just gets worse and worse. Like when they pop in, that's usually the best it's looking. But there are a few things you can mess with. Some of the biggest ones are up at the top here. Here we go. Yeah, these little toggles right here, if you really look at them as you're flipping them around, like pan your camera around a little bit, you'll see what's happening. But there's all sorts of things. Like these have a huge impact on how your leaves are placed, like how the texture is rendered, but also it makes a difference as like how are you going to be looking at these, or in what context are you looking at them. So just, as you're flipping around, take a look at them, see what's going on. You'll notice some familiar texture styles that you've seen in games throughout the years. So you just got to kind of feel out what's good for you. Alright, I'm going to go snatch up a bark texture. Like I said, you can load in your own stuff. You could make something in GIMP, Photoshop, Paint, whatever you want, spray paint, and load those textures in. Make a Lorax tree. You could do a whole lot of variants with this software, but all in all, it's good for just making some trees if you're trying to build a quick forest or a little park or any environment with some trees. I think this is looking pretty good overall. Is there anything we need to mess with in here? No. Alright, just double check it. Okay, so once you get something that you're happy with, you pop up to File, Export, and I would suggest FBX format, but it really depends on what you're doing. Most cases, FBX is going to be the one for you. And I'll just save it here on my desktop. We'll call it Tree. And it did a little dance because it's happy we saved it. And there it is sitting on the desktop, and you can see the files that it saved with it. So it packs those texture files and auto packs the UV. The FBX format is really good for that. So whenever you pop it into Unity, Unreal, Blender, whatever you're doing, those UV should be pre-calculated. And that's about it. Just for fun, I'm going to go in and make a couple little adjustments and build essentially a variant of the same tree. And that can be really good because it's easy to make one tree or make a couple trees and then populate your entire game world with that. And that's just not... obviously, you need to find a balance. You don't want a bunch of heavy assets. But at the same time, you can't have 2 trees in your game if you have multiple forests. You need to be able to add more variance than just changing up the scale and placement of the trees. So this allows you to very quickly generate new meshes that can be just variants of your original tree, which is very nice. and also generate entirely new meshes, like I said. So, I hope this has been helpful, and I'll see you guys as soon as I can. Take it easy, like, sub, share, I'd appreciate it. Bye now.